this hustle culture mentality. It's a bunch of bullshit. We work so that we can live. We don't live just to work. Hola. Buenos dias. ¿Cómo estás? No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Welcome back. Good to see you again. It's good to be back in here, man. Wow, is it good to be back in here. Got back from vacation, week-long vacation, and it was, man, a fantastic time. It really was. Amazing friends, amazing food, amazing drinks, amazing weather, and just an overall beautiful, beautiful time with my wife and our friends at a resort, you know, being pampered, taken care of, and meeting some amazing people too. That's, you know, always one of the fun parts as well for me, is just meeting some of these amazing people from all over the world that we get to talk to and interact with. I do think, you know, good energy brings good energy. Fun times bring fun times. Good people meet good people. And we certainly did. We really did. We met some amazing, amazing people. Some individuals from San Diego, some individuals from North and South Carolina, from all walks of life, especially those two groups of people that were just so fun to hang out with all week. You know, in passing, in the pool, at the bars, at the clubs, whatever it was we were doing. We were always having a good time, even if it was just us. But when you can go out and meet those fun types of people that, you know, match the kind of vibe and the kind of energy that you have, that's just an even better time. But we're back. We're here. We're here back in the gym, our safe space, so to speak, right? Our happy place. I've been looking forward to this. Last week while we were on vacation, we did some light workouts. You saw a video on that. I only filmed one video while we were on vacation, while I was attempting to do some cardio, and it wasn't the best video quality. I do apologize again. I wasn't really prepared for the terrible lighting in the gym that early, but that's okay. We made the most of it. I was gonna set up a light, but I didn't want to make anybody in there feel too uncomfortable or too weirded out by the fact that some weird dude is videoing himself while on the Stairmaster, basically. So we'll make do with what we got. Hope you enjoyed that video and the light commentary there. We're back here in the gym, our home gym, and we are ready for deload week number 2. So last week was vacation week, and as I had mentioned, it was going to be the first of our deload weeks. We were going to take 1 to 2 weeks of deload. So I took last week as a full deload, and really all that means is that we reduced the overall volume of the workouts we were doing. Now, the benefit of being on vacation is that you're kind of forced into that. I don't have all the access to these weights that I have here at the home gym, and I certainly don't have access to all the normal workout equipment that I like to use. Now with that said, the resort actually has a really nice gym. It had some cable machines and some other accessories that I don't have access to here, like the Smith machine. And it was nice to incorporate it into my workouts, but it doesn't have things like barbells, dumbbells over 50 pounds or so. It's lacking a lot of stuff that I would need to get in a full, complete, heavy volume workout. But that's okay. We had already planned for that. We knew that that was gonna be the first of our deload weeks and the first of our recovery weeks. So now we're back here in the home gym and we're ready for deload week number 2. What does that mean exactly? As you can see on today's workout, we're really not changing too much. It's gonna be a fairly normal looking workout to the untrained eye. But what we are doing is we're reducing the overall volume of the exercises that we're doing. We're gonna be doing much of the normal movements that we normally do, but we're gonna be removing some of the sets that we would normally do. Now, some individuals think that a deload just needs to be a reduction in weight. You know, lift less weight, just go in, take it easy for a week or two, and your body will recover naturally. And that is certainly an approach that you can take for your deload weeks. What I like to do though, rather than reducing the weight down by 60 or 70%, is keep the weight the same, because we still need that stimulus, right? Our muscles are still quite strong. We need them to have that stimulus that's gonna allow them to train at all a little bit, right? Feel that weight, feel that stimulus that they're used to feeling that tells them, we're here for a workout. We need to engage as much of the muscle fiber as possible to move this weight. We want them to still have that, but reduce the overall volume that we're going to have them work over the course of the workout. And we can do that by reducing the amount of sets we do. Now, I didn't go exact science on today's one. I didn't, break out the calculator to make sure I'm hitting 60 or 70% based on what muscle we're working in that particular exercise. But what I did do is say, okay, normally I do 4 sets. We're gonna do 2 or 3 sets today. We're gonna just see how it starts to feel. What we really wanna be doing is start approaching that point where we can start to feel that fatigue start to set in within the muscle group that we're working. Once we can start to feel it, that's when we know we need to start kind of cutting it short a little bit, ending it, and then moving on to the next exercise. We want to approach that fatigue, but we don't want to go too far into that doorway. You know what I'm saying? So with the exercises that we've outlined here, we're going to do, again, much of the similar exercises we've been doing for the last couple weeks. We've been doing hypertrophy focused work. We're going to keep doing that. We're going to keep doing that for one more week. And we're also going to be using this week to sort of ramp back up into a normal workout. How are we going to do that? It's pretty simple, actually. Because we're keeping the weights the same, we're not lowering the weight on any of these exercises, meaning we're going to be using our working weights. We're going to be, over the course of the week, adding in exercises that are really going to test our limits here. Because we're going to be moving on to a program that's going to be heavily focused on lifting within rep ranges based on our 1 rep max lifts. Now, it's been a couple months since I've attempted to do any kind of 1 rep max testing. It's actually been quite a few months since I've actually done any real documentation on that. We need to find out by the end of this week what our maxes are for the 3 main staples so that we can incorporate those into our upcoming workout split. We need to know what our bench is, our squat is, and our deadlift. We need to figure out what those 1 rep maxes are, approximately, so that we can program them into our upcoming split, which is going to be a more power building focused workout split. What does that mean? Well, we'll talk more about that here in the coming days, maybe even a little bit later today. But essentially, rather than doing 6 days a week of just hypertrophy, in effect, and this is really boiling it down, we're going to do 3 days of hypertrophy focused work and 3 days of powerlifting work, more strength focused work, right? What is that? It's those lower rep ranges, 3 to 5, 6 to 8, those types of lifting ranges, where we're going to be able to lift more weight for less reps to really focus on the power output versus just a hypertrophy effect. It is my favorite type of training because you get the best of both worlds. You get the ability to go in there and do that hypertrophy focused work to really put the volume in and take that muscle to its failure point while also working very, very, very hard to push some heavy frickin' weights. And who doesn't love pushing some heavy weight? I definitely do. I definitely do. So today's workout, as you saw, is going to be focused on much of the same exercises we've been doing. I threw a couple things in there that I think are just going to be a little bit more fun to rotate in and slightly changed the way we're approaching this workout. I got rid of the T-bar rows and the Kelso shrugs, honestly, just to save a little bit of time. And we're going to be instead just doing some additional barbell rowing and barbell shrugging in place of that. So we'll just be using a barbell instead of the T-bar row. We're going to get the same muscle stimulus. We're going to get the same kind of workout here. But again, we're going into this as a deload week. Today, though, we're not going to be doing any 1 rep max testing. We don't have any to do on our pull days. There's not a 1 rep max that I need to know for our barbell row or our cable rows or our, anything like that. What we need to focus on, though, is going to be things like our bench press, our squat, and our deadlift. So over this week, we will be testing those. Ideally, I would have done bench press today, given tomorrow a rest, and then done our deadlift tomorrow, but I'm not terribly worried about the pacing of it, and I'd like to keep things a little bit more simple with regards to our schedule and just stick to our pull, push, legs routine that we have set up for ourselves here. So today we're going to do our pull workout. Tomorrow we're going to be doing our push workout, and we will be working up to a 1 rep max test of some kind. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be working up to an actual 1 rep max. We very well may actually attempt to do that, but there are calculations we can use to figure out what that 1 rep max could be by using things like our 2 to 5 rep max. Ideally, I like to get within 2 or 3 reps of that, though. The calculations are a little bit better the less reps you do overall. The more reps you do, I find that those numbers get a little bit extrapolated too far, and you're kind of just shooting yourself in the foot there, maybe overestimating what you're actually capable of and pushing yourself too far when you're doing these. Now, because we've been doing cutting, because we've been doing hypertrophy work, we may need to reassess those 1 rep maxes a couple times through this next training phase, but that's okay. We still need to have a baseline of some kind to determine what we're going to be basing our numbers off of right now today. We'll talk more about what the diet looks like right now, what we're moving to, and how we're going to start planning for this. But I want to let you know that the cut is over. We're not going to be cutting anymore. We successfully cut down, almost 20 pounds, I believe. I'd have to look at the exact numbers, but it was a very successful cut. And I can tell you that while we were in Mexico, I have never felt so confident and happy with my body as I was there. And it was a great success. Now, we're back home though, and we've got to reassess our goals, got to reassess what we're working towards, and we've got a couple things lined up. I'll tell you about that here in just a moment. But let's get after this workout. We're just wasting time yapping away over here. We're gonna get set up for some cable rows, get some movement here in our back and in our biceps, and get after today's workout. I'll see you over there. All right, working set number 1 here. Good. Number 2. All right, 1 set of these bad boys. Let's see what we can do. Feeling pretty good. That warm up, that stretch was nice. Let's get after it. 8 reps, 1 set here. Good. Man, that felt good. You know, you leave for a period of time and you come back, finally do some heavy weight again, and it's always a really good feeling. It's always a really good feeling to get some heavy weight moving, to get that stimulus back in those muscles again, and get back to your routine as well. I love it. I love it. Not really sure how much we can do on this barbell row here. It's been a while since we've done it. Let's see if we can do some decent form with 185. Oh, silky. Very good. So what is next? What is the plan moving forward here with the diet, with the training plan? Well, like we already discussed, we're going to be doing a bit of power building here for, I don't know, at least a couple months. It's my favorite training style. I have a feeling we're going to stick with it for, gosh, a foreseeable future, I think. I really want to get more into a strength-based mindset. As I've mentioned before, though, I don't want to bring it down to just like 4 workouts a week, which is generally what, at least in the past when I've done research, what these powerlifting focused lifters are doing. I really enjoy 6 days a week, 5. We can make it do with 5 as well, and we probably will do 5 for at least a little bit here. But I don't know. I don't know how long we're going to do power building, or if we'll move just to a strength training program at some point here in the future to maybe gear up for like an actual meet. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not entirely certain. But for the diet, we're going to do some maintaining for a little bit. Maybe after a couple weeks, we'll switch to a slow bulk, very slow bulk, lean bulk. But for the moment, until we do this Spartan race here in June, I really want to try to maintain for a while and not put on any crazy amount of weight. We're sitting pretty comfy after the vacation. We only put on 3 pounds. That's already down a pound today. So that's mostly water weight. And I would imagine it's going to level off here by the end of the week, if not even before then. But if we can maintain that weight and maybe very slowly start bulking, you know, quarter to a half pound a week bulk, that would be really good for us to allow our strength gains to actually materialize while not putting on crazy excessive weight before the Spartan race and kind of undoing all the work we just did over the last 3 months. Second set, last set for this one. We're only doing 2. I'm gonna go a little wider this time. It was pretty narrow on the first set there. Good. All right, bit of a superset here. We're gonna do our shrugs and our one-arm lat pull-ins back to back. We're gonna start with the lat pull-ins, allow that to get its full work in there. Only doing 2 sets of these though. We're only doing 2 sets of these lat pull-ins on each side, and then we're gonna be doing 3 sets of shrugs. Why 3 sets of shrugs? Honestly, I just kind of feel like it. When we talk about deload, not everything needs to be deloaded as much as some of our major muscle groups. Think of how large our quads are, our pecs are, our backs, our whole back, but really our lats. Those muscles need a lot more energy, protein, and recovery to fully recover and get as much back into them as they're capable of having to be at 100%, right? But these smaller muscles, like our traps, they're a lot smaller. They're not going to need as much overall, and that does mean that we can hit them a little bit harder on a more routine basis day to day, but also during our deloads as well. We don't need to be as careful. In short, I'm not worried about overworking my traps right now. Not at all. In fact, if anything, I'd be a little bit worried about underworking them at this point in time. They're not worked very heavily. They haven't been in the past. I've been trying to do that a little bit more just to give them a little bit more isolated work. So we're going to keep going with that. 3 sets of those, and then we're going to be doing our 2 sets of our lat pull-ins. Let's get after it. Here we go. All right, second set. Final set for these lat pull-ins. First one felt pretty good. A little heavy, but not bad at all. Good. All right, last set of shrugs here. Very nice. All right, we're all set up for some incline curls here. I've got my no conformity arm blaster on the back of the bench here to give my arms a bit of a back support to really pump them up a bit more. We're gonna be doing 3 sets of the incline curls and dumbbell reverse flies at the same time. We're gonna superset them. When I deload, I like to superset as much as possible. The overall effort required, the energy required is less because we're lowering that volume. So I find I can superset a little bit more than I normally do day to day. It just helps get the workout done a little bit quicker. So let's get after it. 3 sets, 90-second breaks in between, maybe 60 seconds depending on how taxed we are. We'll see. We're gonna have to feel that one out. But I think 90 seconds is gonna be that sweet spot. Might lower it from there though. Right into those flies. Set number 2 here. It felt good. It felt really nice. That's good. Man, we got one more set of these to do, and then we've got some hanging leg raises that we're going to do for our abs today. Can't tell you how good it feels to be back here in the gym, in the home gym, doing our workout, even on a deload week. Even on a deload week. I think I used to look at a deload week as kind of a waste of time, and that's something probably every lifter has gone through in the past. Leave me a comment below if you thought that as well. Let me know what you think now, how you overcame that, what led to you realizing that you needed a deload, that deloads were important in a training programming split. Let me know. But I think each and every one of us goes through that progression, figures out somewhat quickly that ultimately we need rest, right? Period. Across the board. We need sleep, we need off days, and on the longer form, we need those deload weeks. And this one so far has been good. It's been good to rest and recover in that manner. It's been good to let our body kind of catch back up, so to speak. But it was also good to get away on vacation with my friends and my wife, kind of recenter, realign ourselves, and remember what is really important in life, what is bringing us happiness and joy, and make sure we're setting goals to actualize those things. To not forget about doing those things, cherishing those moments in time, being present in the moment, but also remembering to make plans for the things that make us the happiest. I told my wife on the way back, I said, it doesn't seem right that we don't know what our next vacation is going to be. Now, that's a bit of a lie and a bit of a truth. There is something in the works here that my wife is working on that could be a great little vacation, international trip, actually, for us in the coming months. But that might not happen. It might not happen yet. We're not confirmed on that front. And so if that does happen, we'll be doing another international trip this year, which would be great. It'd be fantastic. We love traveling abroad, exploring, truly getting lost in cultures, both physically, mentally, and emotionally, and really discovering who we are, what these other cultures are about. There's so much we can learn from other cultures, other ways people live their lives. Even just being down in Mexico for that week, it was such a good reminder to take things a little bit slower. I think in America, we're just constantly in this rush, right? Always going, always going. It's something I think my generation has been working to change. And we probably started it too, though. This hustle culture mentality. It's a bunch of bullshit. Don't get caught up in that. We don't just work all the time. That's not what living is. We work so we can live. We don't live just to work. So make sure you're taking the time to rest. I say that as a guy who's doing, one full-time job and another with you right here. This is a second job for me. But I've very meticulously planned out my weeks to make sure that I'm spending time with my family and taking time for myself as well. If you want to talk more about that, if you want to know more about what that looks like and planning for that, putting boundaries in place for yourself, please let me know down in the comments. I'm happy to talk about that some more, give you some pointers, give you some tips, and even tell you how I'm structuring my life right now. Happy to share that information. But it was such a good reminder to be down there and see just how much slower, it feels like the wrong word to use, but more at ease it all is down there. They're just so much more content and happy too, it seems. Now, don't get me wrong. Everyone has their struggles. Every culture, every country has their own issues, struggles, and problems. But everyone we interacted with down there was just a little bit more easygoing, it seemed, on a day-to-day life. Whether we were on the road, driving next to them, at a resort, at a bar, at a club, at a store, out on the street, whatever it was. It just seemed like it was all a little bit easier going and a little bit more carefree. It was nice. It was a really good reminder. Now we're back. We're putting in the work day to day. But we're going to be also remembering to be mindful of where we are, to be present in the moment, and keep looking forward to the things that we can have for ourselves that are going to bring us more joy. I've talked about that before. Making sure that we're working towards those things that are going to bring us happiness and joy. Today, right now, it's this workout. Tomorrow at the exact same time, it might be something else. It could very well be. Now, we're still going to need this routine. We're still going to need this workout. But we've got to make sure we're making time for those things that are going to make us the happiest. Because if we're not, then we're not living life. There's no point in doing any of this. We've got to be making sure that we're making time for the things and the people that make us happy, focusing on ensuring that we give that to ourselves so that we're not just driving ourselves insane, working ourselves to the grave, and getting sucked into that bullshit hustle culture that tells you that if you're not always working and grinding, you're wasting time. That's not true. And I say that as somebody who could very easily overwork themselves, very easily work 60 to 80-hour weeks again. It's easy to do. It's easy to slip back to, especially with my background and how badly I'm always chasing that silver-haired fox of financial freedom. No matter how much you make, my mentor once told me, and this has never been untrue. No matter how much you make, you always need more. You always want more. It's true. No amount of money is ever good enough for me, unfortunately. But we find a way to be content, right? At least we're trying to. So today, let's be content with this deload week. Let's be content with this amazing workout. We're going to wrap up with one more set of these dumbbell flies and curls, and then we're going to do our hanging leg raises. And so with that, I'll bid you farewell. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you showing up. It's good to see you all again. It's good to talk to you again. It's good to be here. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow. Talk soon. Have a good one.